Frozen Flame is a survival adventure sandbox game a la Valheim set in the vibrant, if slightly generic world of Arcana, an ancient land steeped in magic both good and evil. For you see, Arcana has been beset by the Faceless, a mysterious evil entity who has spread a nondescript curse across the land, and you guessed it, you're the only one who can stop it. If this premise sounds familiar, that's because it is, but it's not why you're really here, is it? No, you're here to say, forget the Faceless, I just want to build cool houses, cook cool meals, kill cool bosses, and just generally lose myself in a fun fantasy world, maybe with a friend or two. And if this is indeed what you're looking for in a game, congratulations. You have pretty much found it, because Frozen Flame checks all of the boxes that fans of the survival adventure sandbox genre have come to love and expect. For example, there's a fairly robust building mode that allows you to create the fantasy home of your dreams, or if you're like me and lack any semblance of architectural prowess, the tiny prison cottage of your nightmares. I mean, really, that thing would make a Hong Kong micro apartment blush. There's also a decently deep crafting system that allows you to, after gathering all the requisite materials scattered about the world, hit all the fantasy crafting highlights. You know, armor, weapons, makeshift shelter, you name it. And finally, Frozen Flame invites you to get experimental in the kitchen, or bonfire rather, as no two ingredients will produce anything short of an edible, health-restoring meal, with some perks thrown in for flavor. After gearing up and grabbing an NPC quest or two, it's time to hit the road and see what Arcana has to offer. There are time trials to complete, collectibles to collect, jumping puzzles to jump, and vistas to vist. Occasionally you'll stumble upon the game's narrator, a fairly forgettable "you are our last hope" kind of lady that appears as a white raven, and she'll bestow you with unsolicited lore about the land. So, all that, the cooking, crafting, building, and aimless exploration, is about it as far as what I would call Frozen Flame's strengths, or flames. If you've been sitting there muttering to yourself, just hurry up and tell me what there is to kill and how to kill it, I'm afraid I have some bad news. At least in this stage of early access, Frozen Flame's combat is a bit shit. There's no optional target lock a la Dark Souls, so many of your attacks and abilities will either stop well short or sail right past the enemy. If you do happen to land a blow, the actual attack animations and associated sounds don't combine to create anything particularly impactful. It's also easy to cheese some of the bosses, as they won't always aggro you if you stand just outside the zone of the fight. And if you do manage to catch one's attention, contrary to what I thought for the first several hours of playing this game, there is a dodge. But you wouldn't know it if you're playing on gamepad, as the controls aren't remappable and nothing seems to be the dodge button by default, so take my advice and play on mouse and keyboard if at all possible. Finally, I was thoroughly whelmed by just the number of enemies on display. Outside of these little dudes, some skeletons, and the occasional jelly blob, there just isn't that much to fight. Couple these shortcomings with semi-consistent lag spikes, and Frozen Flame is currently, in my opinion, more frozen than it is flame. Of course, all of these design flaws are subject to change even by the time you watch this quick review. Take it from me. I received my Frozen Flame copy on November 3rd and spent a whole week playing the game before an update completely reset my progress and tweaked a few features, including a redesigned ability tree and a much better tutorial. So all that to say, while Frozen Flame probably isn't worth your time yet, this is a game that the devs have been feverishly working on for 5 or so years now, and I think it has a bright future ahead. I'm giving it a tentative score of 2.79 out of 5, and I'm looking forward to revisiting Arcana at full release. Until then, this is Scope, and thanks for watching.